Okay, so going over 10 and 11 packet questions. Let's start with 10. So Sbac practice 10 first. Questions from that one?
Number 4.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. All right, the graph of the quadratic function here, y equals f of x, is shown, and the points b13 and c13 are both in the graph where b does not equal c. Select the consecutive integer interval on the number line that contains the value of b and c. It's obviously not drawn big enough, so we're going to do the best we can to... we're doing number 10, practice 10, number 4. Okay, so what are the two ways to get 13 as an answer for the y value? How are we going to get positive 13 but two different x values? Can you explain that first? A negative and positive, because it's a parabola. Do you agree? Okay, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're looking at right about here and here. And let's see if they gave us two separate intervals for that one. -4 to -3 and 3 to 4. Okay, so can you see, again, this is a rough estimate. It looks like it's right around -4, so they're saying -4 to -3 and 3 to 4. If you had said 3 to, say, 5, that would have been 5, fine, or -3 to -5 probably would have been what I would have done. But does that make sense? They're just kind of giving a rough interval that B and C would lie in. Make sense? And the same thing on this one. Okay, any others? So what was it that I said? It was -3, -4, and 3, 4? Yeah. Okay. Any others? Was this packet not too bad? Yeah. Did you guys understand how to do number 8?
Can we do number 8?
Mm-hmm. Select the graph with the correct solution for f of x equals g of x, given f of x equals x squared minus 1, and g of x equals x plus 1. Okay. First off, x squared minus 1 is what type of shape? Parabola shift. Yes. Yes, you may. Shifting which way? Down 1. So which two can I cross out? A and D. Okay, so, and y equals x plus 1 is a linear graph with a y-intercept of positive 1. Is that both cases here? Do both of these graphs look pretty much exactly the same? Yes? Only difference is what?
They're
solutions. So this one's saying 0 and 1. This one's saying -1 and 2. The solutions, can we find them? Or right here, what is that? That looks like what?
not 0 and 1.
It's not 0 and not 1. Do you guys agree with him?
Right.
Is it -1 and 2? Does that look like it could be -1?
Yeah.
And this one right here, does that look like it's 2?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what's the correct answer?
That makes sense.
Another way you could have done it is set them equal to each other. X plus 1 equals x squared minus 1. Move over the x, move over the 1, and factor and solve, and you'd end up with the -1 and 2. Or, again, looking at the graph and telling, like Zach said, that these 2 points are not 0 and 1. All right? Any others from this packet before we move on to the next one? Yes?
Kind of looks confusing because like the points are all of the
Yes, and let me just make a correction. I said 10 and 11 earlier, but this is just what? This packet was just 10, correct? All right, so right now we're going over just 10. Okay, that one was, it was not printed correctly, so you guys can cross out 10. the dots, when it was printed, the points didn't line up where they should. Did anybody else notice that?
Yeah, so cross out 10.
Yeah. Yeah, so cross off 10, please. All right, any others? 15. State shade in the region that is the solution set of the system of linear inequalities. All right, in order to shade, we need to get y by itself and y being on the left side of the equation. So if I want y on the left side, what am I going to do with the 2x? Subtract. Now, are 6 and 2x like terms? Can I subtract them? No. So I want to write it in y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to write it 6 minus 2x or negative 2x plus 6. All right, and then divide everything by 3. And what does that give me? Y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2. All right, so which graph is that? The one here with the negative slope or the one down below with the positive slope? This. Good question. Okay. Okay, let me repeat her question and then the answers that came out. She said, don't we flip the inequality because we're dividing? And a few of you said, no, because of what? Because we're not dividing by a negative. So when you multiply or divide by a negative,
Hey, big fella, what you doing?
I'm sorry.
mm,
Oh, really?
put it away, please. All right. So does everyone see that it's this graph here? And it should be solid because it's equal to bar. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, less than equal to is above or below? Below. So I'm going to shade there. All right, next one. I want to get it by itself. And again, don't just look and say, oh, I can tell it's less than equal to, so it's going to be below. You want to get the y by itself. So what do I do first? Subtract the x. How should I write that? Negative 4y is less than or equal to what? Negative x plus 8. Divide both sides by negative 4. So here is what was said earlier. So Caitlin said, this one would we flip? Yeah. Yes, because we're dividing by a negative. So it's positive 1/4 x plus or minus 2. Minus 2. And is that this graph here? Down 2 with the positive slope. All right. Now, if you looked here and said, well, I've already done the first one, so I know this is the second graph and less than or equal to is below, would you get it wrong? Yes, because when you get y by itself, what ends up happening? It flipped. So is it above or below? Above. And you look for the crosshatch where the two lines overlap, the shading. Where are we going to shade? Up above, down below, and these little corners. Right corner or left one? All right, questions on that? We're good? Greater than or greater than equal to is the top, above. Oh my goodness. And less than or less than equal to is below, bottom. Yep, yes. I sure can. Okay, questions on that one before I flip it over? Okay, number 6. The graph shows linear equations, y equals f of x and y equals g of x. Determine the solution to this equation. F of x minus g of x equals 0. What are they asking in a kind of a tricky way? Where they equal. Do you guys agree? If I move g of x over, I get f of x equals g of x. Agree or disagree? Agree? So really, it's just a tricky way of asking when are they equal. And when are they equal is asking when the two lines do what? Intersect. Got it? So negative 4, 4, or close to. Yes, the graph paper would come out, be clearer when you're taking the actual test. All right. Number 7. The graph shows the equation, blah, 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 blah. Select all answer choices that best represent solutions to the equations. Is this the same thing? F of x equals g of x? All right, so it's about there. X equals 0. Does x equal 0 when they intersect? Yes? On the bottom? They what?
At 0, 0.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, yes. Okay. This one right here, yes? Okay, sorry, I was only looking at the one. Okay, so A, do they intersect when x is 5? No. When x is 11.7? That looks about right. X is 13.5. 12, so around here, no. X is 20, no. So A and C. All right, are we good? No other questions?